Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today with a Borderlands 3 Legendary Weapon Guide. We're returning to my roots a little bit here because, as a lot of you know, I did Skyrim unique weapon and armor guides. This is pretty cool for me, so let me explain how the series is going to be structured real quick. Basically what I'm doing is I'm going to tackle some of the early game legendaries and quest-oriented legendaries. I'm not going to focus on main quest ones because obviously those are attainable to all, but the side quest ones I do want to talk about and make guides for because they are missable. So we're going to start things off with the shocking 9-volt, which has 10 times 3 damage, a 68% accuracy, 70% handling, a 1.4 second reload time, which will be very important for this weapon, a 15.77 per second fire rate, and a magazine size of 9, which is also very important to this gun. We can see that the unique line is contact. It has plus 10% critical hit damage, a plus 15% weapon rate of fire, a 1.5 and 3 times weapon zoom, and it's highly effective against shield because, as we can see, it is a shock weapon that does 12 damage per second and has a 22% chance of activating, which, given its rate of fire, its small magazine size, and how many are going to be coming out per shot, you'll likely activate this shock almost every single time. So the way we get this is by heading to Promethea. This is the first planet you go to after Pandora, so don't worry, you will encounter this on your main quest. Now, as you're going along here, you'll be exploring what's called the Meridian Metro Complex, and if you're in the middle of the Rise and Grind quest line where you're searching for coffee, then you'll actually stumble upon another side quest where you can look up Kilovolt for Mad Moxie, and she'll tell you how she kind of wants to take this guy out. She's had enough of him. So all you have to do is activate this quest and head into the objective area, which will bring you to Electra City. There you'll be invited to join what's called a game show, Who Wants to Bang a Bazillionaire, which is very Borderlands. Anyway, the quest is pretty straightforward, but you want to be around the level 13 to 15 threshold. That's where I was, and I was playing solo. It was a little bit of a difficult area because there were tons of enemies everywhere, a lot of badass enemies at that, so keep that in mind as you're running around. But the goal of this quest is to collect multiple tokens that will eventually bring you to Kilovolt, where you can take him out. So once you collect said tokens, you'll bring them to Moxie. She will give you a special token. You'll head over to the ceremony with Kilovolt. You'll hand them to them, and a boss fight will initiate. Now, Kilovolt is a bit of a tough boss. He has a floor-wide attack, which you can only stun by shooting him repeatedly in between his legs, we'll say. And also, he has a lot of moves which will cover the ground in electricity, and then he'll charge you with his shield. So you really have to make sure you're extra mobile in these boss fights. Make sure you're sliding everywhere, getting out of the way. And also do know that his shields do not get lowered easier if you use shock weaponry, which sort of makes sense with the type of character he is and the type of attacks he has. But I know for a lot of Borderlands players, myself included, because I gave it a shot immediately, I thought, oh, shields, I'm going to use my shock weapon and take it down. So he takes a lot of time to work your way down. It may take you a try or two. It took me 3. Eventually, though, the fight will start to wrap up, and you will knock his butt down, and all of a sudden, a lot of weapon vomit will occur, and there you will see the shocking 9-volt will be dropped, which you can then swap out for whatever weapon you want. Now, the best build I feel for the shocking 9-volt may be critical hits and reload speed, just because you're going to be flying through rounds very easily. So let's take a look at the weapon itself. As you can see, there are 2 fire modes, but they're both burst fire. So what happens is actually neither of them shoot differently. So I made sure when I approached enemies, I shot on both fire types, and here's what happened.
Yes, into the fray. Have fun rotting.
I'm not eating from your heart, but aorta.
You then, how are your last reps going?
No celebrate fire. Healing, drag me to the curb.
I can fix that. Back up now. Near-death experience? Nope.
AKA nothing. They're just simple burst fires. I don't know why there are multiple fire modes. There didn't seem to be any alternate effects. They didn't shoot differently in the terms of how the bullets came out. But all in all, as you can see, this weapon is best at close range because it spreads very easily when you start shooting, and it's designed really just to shred shields and then fall back or let someone else do the damage, and I kind of like that. The weapon serves a very specific purpose. It's very powerful in what it does, especially if you land the shock. The damage over time for most enemies will kill them immediately, so this weapon is quite lethal. It does deserve its title of legendary. But that'll wrap up my first ever Borderlands 3 legendary weapons guide. I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. How can these guides improve? What would you like to see more of the weapon? Did I provide everything for you? Because if I'm going to go forward with this series, I want to make sure I'm doing it right for everybody. So let me know if there's other specific things that should be included in these guides, but I do hope you enjoy and look forward to more guides over time from this game. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below, along with my Patreon. Do consider supporting that as it fuels all the content I create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.